How about I ask you, Vin, and Tom, for what it's worth, since we have an ordinance in town that bans any dispensaries, whether it's recreational or medicinal, why are we having this conversation?
Hey, Rob, I thought we changed, I thought we
Right.
voted to change that.
Because they want to reintroduce themselves and
I'm sorry, we voted.
they just want to reintroduce themselves, Rob. We're not committing to anything because that could change. It's by ordinance. We created an ordinance so we can create a new ordinance if we want to. So
is
this
that
group's here
plan?
just introduce themselves and they want to extol the virtues of their company and tell you what their plan would be. Pardon?
Well, so somebody said we changed it. We haven't changed
Breaking
any
up,
ordinance.
Rob.
November 2019, it was on the ballot and it passed. In 2020, it also passed statewide. So regardless, this is going to be a discussion. So I don't have a problem hearing from them at all. We're
So-
missing the
Yeah,
boat
it's
right
just a
now.
discussion. We're not taking action. It's a workshop.
Okay, so you guys plan on bringing an ordinance up to change the current ordinance?
It's been
Can I-
voted on 2 years in a row,
We never
Rob.
said that. We said we're going to listen to what.
Well, if you don't
It's gonna
plan
come
on
up for
changing the
discussion.
ordinance, why would we listen?
all
They want to listen,
the
Rob.
time.
Marty, you're not,
Rob, but
Marty, I'm not
we have
talking.
no
Never
plans right now
Never
for
mind.
anything except
wanna
to hear
hear
what these fine young people have to say about their company.
So again, I asked.
Because, Rob, here's the thing,
Yeah.
Rob. This was on, Denny, was this on the agenda for a couple of days or you just put it on?
It was. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Rob,
that's why I'm
turn it
asking
off
now.
if you don't want to listen. Anthony, go
No,
ahead,
no, no, I'm
introduce
asking
yourself.
why we're having the conversation if our ordinance in town bans any dispensaries. Unless you guys are gonna put an ordinance up to change it. So my question is, do you plan on putting an ordinance up to change the local ordinance that says no dispensaries in town?
Maybe I'll introduce it in February.
Okay, thank you for bringing that up, John.
Now can we have the discussion?
Start.
I don't
Hey,
think we
let's go.
should, but
All right, so let me just start by introducing myself, guys. My name is Anthony Lottie. I'm one of the managing partners here at Earth and Ivy, currently a senior at the University of Pennsylvania. And let me just start off by saying thank you very much, Mayor Siciliano. I know we've been in touch for a little bit, and we've been working on this for several months now, and it's a lot of hard work just to get up into this point. So, we're very excited for this opportunity to be sitting in front of all of you here, and hopefully you can hear what we have to say. We feel that we bring a pretty good case here, and hopefully we can work something out together and just have a simple dialogue about possibly opening Earth and Ivy in Ocean Township.
what have you been working on for the last few months?
We've been mainly working with, we have that's all in our pitch that we have right here. If you want us to, kind of wait till we get to that so we can kind of like wrap everything together. I'll allow David and Sasha to kind of, piggyback off that and to kind of introduce themselves here.
Yeah, how you guys doing? My name is David Grislick. I'm also an alumni of the University of Pennsylvania. I was a former football player there, like Lottie, Anthony as well. And yeah, again, guys, thank you so much for giving us this chance to, hear us out, let us know, have you guys kind of be indoctrinated in what we're kind of going on at Earth and Ivy, kind of what we want to do. We have a little, as Anthony was mentioning before, we have a little bit of a presentation, just about a 10 to 15 minute kind of talk through points. We also have an additional pitch deck and PowerPoint that we're obviously going to send right after this conversation. And yeah, again, thank you guys so much for hearing us out and giving us this opportunity to speak and just be heard. I mean, it's not an opportunity that we have every day. So again, thank you so much.
And hi, everyone. I'm Sasha. I was a soccer player at Penn, graduated in 2019. And I'm excited to have you guys hear us out. And I'm going to let David kick it off. And you'll be hearing from all of us following that. And hopefully you guys like what we have to say.
And then again, if at any point there's a question, a comment, concern, feel free to let us know and interrupt. So as many of you may or may not know, on November 3rd, 2020, with over 67% of the roughly 4.1 million votes reported in favor, New Jersey voters approved statewide adult use cannabis legalization. The amendment passed legalizes the purchase, possession, transportation, and the personal use of small amounts of cannabis for individuals aged 21 and over. The bill also legalizes the manufacture, the distribution, and retail sale of cannabis. Adult use products will face a 6.625% sales tax, and municipalities such as Ocean can pass ordinances to charge local taxes of up to 2%. Last year alone, adult use cannabis sales, not including medicinal sales, reached between $9.7 and $11.8 billion in the United States, while that number is vastly projected to grow to between 20.7 and 25.3 billion by 2024. With New Jersey being the most densely populated state in the country and expected to have the lowest tax rate for adult use cannabis, while in full recovery mode from COVID-19, the market for cannabis in New Jersey is set to grow to over $1 billion by 2023 and $1.2 billion by 2025. So we at Earth and Ivy are a startup cannabis company that is looking to gain a foothold in the newly emerging adult use cannabis market in New Jersey. In the United States at the moment, 15 states and Washington, D.C. have legalized adult use of cannabis. While most of these states are located out on the West Coast or in the Midwest, there aren't too many states out on the East Coast, adversely, that essentially have legalized adult use cannabis. So while familiarity and education and knowledge of adult use cannabis is embedded into some of the functioning aspects of the West Coast and Midwestern areas, usage is still relatively taboo and not necessarily too commonly accepted in our area. But in New Jersey, even if a consumer wanted to legally buy and consume adult use cannabis, that New Jersey resident would have to drive over 100 miles and multiple hours to reach the nearest place in which buying and consuming was even deemed legal. However, the overall attitudes around cannabis usage in New Jersey are clearly starting to change. With a 2/3 majority in passing, one can clearly see that the opinions of New Jersey's residents are clearly evolving, forming this new age cannabis movement, so to speak, a movement that Earth and Ivy plans on playing a big role in advancing of. So while most cannabis retailers are, worried about money and how much they can make, our approach is different. So given our personal experience as former football and soccer and Ivy League Division I student athletes and consumers of these products, we can certainly speak to the medical benefits of this plan. Our mission is to take our experiences and create a safe space for education. Earth and Ivy looks to educate patients on safe uses and practices and responsible consumption methods. In today's world of having a plant to help and heal without the use of any other opioids or other habit-forming pharmaceuticals that have been ravaging our country is obviously an outlet in which we would like to pursue and come into after. To accomplish this, Earth and Ivy's retail experience will be very transparent and informative on in-store cannabis products and cannabis experience in itself. These consumers will be educated on the ways in which cannabis products are intended to be used and safely consumed, on the health and wellness benefits behind each, and ultimately find out which products suit them best. By creating this environment and bringing the retail experience in this way, Earth and Ivy hopes to create a loyal and educated customer base, a customer base that would then possess the newfound knowledge and understanding of the industry and products, allowing them to be comfortable making their own repeat purchases. If I can turn it over to Sasha.
And I know you guys are sitting here, you're probably like, what are these
Connection
20-year-olds?
breaks up sometimes. It sounds like people are talking in slow-mo.
Oof.
Ooh, I hope
the
that
police.
I'm not. Let's see. Okay,
Can you guys
but
hear us all
hopefully
loud?
that this is choppy. I'm gonna start my part. So I bet you guys are all thinking, like, what are all these 20-year-olds, these 3 20-year-olds about to do, right? And we understand that experience is huge. Our team has a lot of young energy already pounding the pavement, creating opportunities, and establishing our brand at Earth and Ivy. But we also know that we don't know what we don't know, obviously. And for that, we've identified some business professionals and cannabis experts to help us through this journey. Our spearhead and CEO, John Lottie, has entrepreneurial and business operation experience. He started an insurance brokerage firm, now called Amwins Group, in 2001, which he later sold in 2004 and serves as vice president of the company, who employs over 5,000 people. To be able to stay compliant and successfully operate in the cannabis industry specifically, we're working with a consulting firm by the name of Higher Yields, and they're in the process of vetting established cannabis operators for additional future partnership. Not only do these groups have years of successful cannabis experience operations, but they also align with our mission and our overall vision for our brand. Our consultants and established operators can give us better insights and assistance on cannabis-specific retail aspects, such as operating procedures for cash handling, security systems, inventory control, POS systems, management and training processes, etc. We know that bringing these people together with our company, Earth and Ivy, is what will truly drive innovation and further develop our brand, and will lead us to hopefully acquiring a license from the state. Part of our goal is disassociating from negative stigmas attached to cannabis. Earth and Ivy plans on designing a retail space that doesn't necessarily follow the typical layout of a cannabis dispensary. We're not concerned with creating just another stereotypical pothead store or wacky weed shop. The retail experience that Earth and Ivy plans to implement encompasses the sleek look and design of a health and wellness spa center, while also adding aspects of technology in the store that will assist in the educated and buying processes of computers and iPads throughout the store. And it would be integrated with surveys and related questions that could guide your cannabis purchase based on consumer health needs and desired effects. Apart from multiple technology integrations, there will also be options for person consultations with licensed and experienced cannabis professionals, allowing for one-on-one conversations to help guide consumers through cannabis resale processes. We plan on displaying and making products in the store as transparent as possible, whether that be through innovative product packing displays, odor control, or amplified viewing methods. Apart from creating the best retail customer experience possible through strong partnerships with reputable cultivators and wholesalers, we also plan to deliver high quality and the most reputable products that its customers can trust. And security and compliance are our top priorities. It's imperative to us that our store is safe, secure, and abiding by all rules and regulations required by the municipality and also the state of New Jersey. We'd be utilizing multiple panic sensors, cameras covering every square inch of the licensed facility, specified lock systems, and comprehensive standard operating procedures for security, proper cash handling, inventory tracking and traceability. I mean, just to name a few. Our owners and employees alike will also complete comprehensive training programs related to security, risk mitigation, cash handling, inventory tracking, and more. Every incoming and outgoing unit of product, along with every dollar, will be tracked using the top technology of the market. We're particularly focused on the systems that have compliance as the center of their software. And all in all, to harbor this consumer environment, we've actually submitted 3 letters of intent with contingencies for potential retail properties in Ocean Township. One at 3311 Sunset Ave, another at 1800 Route 35, and another one at 2112 Route 35. Apart from these early areas of interest, we would be more than willing to work with any other available properties located that the municipality would prefer. So we're open to move to having different locations in mind. However, we've had a letter of intent with those and willing to hear your guys' feedback on that. So with that being said, Anthony Lottie has the breakdown of what you guys might be interested in.
Thanks, Sasha. And, I'm going to talk about a little bit about, how is this going to benefit you guys? How is this good for, clearly it's good for us at Earth and Ivy, but why is it good for Ocean Township? And reason number one for that is the tax revenue. And a major reason as to why having adult use cannabis dispensary, and more specifically Earth and Ivy, is beneficial to your municipality is the increased tax revenue you're able to collect. And there are many different ways to go about this. You can go percentage of price, you can go weight-based, you can go potency-based. And with the law stands in New Jersey right now, Ocean Township has the ability to leverage a 0 to 2% additional sales tax. We want to break down numbers here. Currently, our model estimates that we will be a $6 million per year store, $6 million per year. And if you were to have, let's just say, a 1.5 tax on that $6 million, that's nearly $100,000 that Ocean Township could be able to use from that one location alone. And the beauty of that is that New Jersey's had to have much higher numbers with tax revenue. Because as David mentioned prior, this is going to be a $1 billion industry in New Jersey by 2023. And with how densely populated New Jersey is and the increased influx of tourism to the Jersey Shore during the summer months, you could see large numbers of increase in tax revenue. And these dividends can go towards local schools, parks, infrastructure improvements, funding for the homeless, police departments, hospitals, lowering property taxes, and much more. This is something that Earth and Ivy is particularly excited about because we're locals from the Jersey Shore. And there's nothing more that we want to see than seeing Ocean be the best it can possibly be and seeing it be one of the top spots in New Jersey. A plus to also having a local tax is that, quite frankly, studies do show that having a higher local tax on cannabis sales actually reduces the consumption of cannabis by minors. On top of the tax revenue of having Earth and Ivy in your town, this is going to create massive economic development for nearby businesses as well as create jobs. We estimate with our consultants, based on our model, that we'll create at least 20 new jobs for members of the community. Some of these jobs are entry-level jobs, but some of these jobs will require salaries near 6 figures. These jobs would include a general manager of inventory, human resources specialists, a store manager, 2 assistant store managers, 8 bud tenders, and 2 security guards. COVID has done severe damage to retail businesses in the past year, and we've all seen that. You see empty store lots wherever you go all throughout the state. And Earth and Ivy will be a major destination for customers, and they will see other businesses we are in close proximity to, i.e. a pizzeria, a diner, a clothing store, a convenience store, and the list goes on. And they'll feel compelled to go in there because they're by Earth and Ivy. Earth and Ivy being in Ocean will not only fill a vacant store lot, but provide better business to all other small business owners nearby. And there's another truth that we all kind of have to face here, and it's that New Jersey led the entire nation in marijuana-related arrests. In 2017, New Jersey led the nation with approximately 35,000 arrests for possession of marijuana and 3,100 marijuana distribution charges. That's around 38 in every 10,000 residents in New Jersey. And the important fact to note here for all of us, whether you decide to have Earth and Ivy in Ocean or not, is that people in Ocean are still going to be consuming cannabis, whether they're going to buy it legally from Earth and Ivy or they're going to be buying it on the illicit market. Having Earth and Ivy in your town forces cannabis users to make a decision. Would they rather pick up cannabis from a sketchy drug dealer down the street? Or would they rather go to Earth and Ivy, where you can't even step into the premises unless you're 21 years old? Our cannabis is government regulated. It's FDA approved. It's tested and analyzed for its 100% safety because you know exactly what you're doing. This creates a fully transparent experience, knowing that citizens are still going to get cannabis either legally or illegally. Why not reduce the risk as much as possible by having a safe place for them to purchase cannabis? As a municipality, this is enticing because not only are you ensuring everyone's safety, but you reduce drug-related crime because the black market is essentially reduced to nothing. On top of that, all of that tax revenue that's provided from Earth and Ivy will go directly to your municipality, as for community advancements, as opposed to shady drug dealers on the street. And it's important for all of us to acknowledge as to why adult use cannabis was signed into law in the first place in New Jersey. And the reason is quite chilling, to be honest. New Jersey led the entire nation in marijuana arrested convictions for minorities. In Ocean Township alone, arrest data showed that from 2000 to 2013, minorities were approximately 5 times more likely to be arrested for marijuana-related crimes, despite only making up 15% of the population. That's around 320 arrests for every 100,000 residents. Needless to say, this is a problem right here in this town. And not just us at Earth and Ivy, but we all have the opportunity to right those wrongs. Make it so that nobody's ever targeted by police for a nonviolent marijuana-related crime, providing equal treatment for all people, no matter their race, and hiring locally and providing jobs for people. And of course, we are in this business for the financial opportunities, that goes without saying. However, we're Jersey Shore guys, and we care about this place, and we love Ocean, we love Ocean Township, we love the Jersey Shore, we care about this deeply because we were raised here. We feel that us having Earth and Ivy in your town will benefit the community greatly, and we have many initiatives that we personally would like to take. We have a very unique platform of being Ivy League Division I athletes. Sports have played a pivotal role in each of our lives, and we feel it is imperative of us to donate portions of our profits to local youth sports programs. Sports teaches kids accountability, responsibility, teamwork, discipline, and perseverance, all things that we were able to learn at a very young age through our respective sport. We want kids in the community to learn those same lessons so they can become productive adults in the future. Something that I've been very involved with in the past 7 years is the Freehold Men's Emergency Housing Program. I've had the ability to meet incredible people, hear some incredible stories, and really just meet some fine men in this program. And we want to work with different homelessness foundations and foster homes in the area. Lastly, we all know how devastating cancer can be. And I bet it's affected every one of us, whether it's us personally, a family member, a friend, or somebody we're just close with. Just last year, I donated my bone marrow to a 37-year-old mother with leukemia and underwent a 3-hour procedure. This is something we are all extremely passionate about at Earth and Ivy, and we would love to work with local hospitals and cancer organizations to further fund cancer research. And that's all we have here, guys. Thank you very much for hearing us out. This is an incredible opportunity for us, and we'd love to open the doors.
Good, thanks, Anthony. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so yeah, as I think Councilman Achara alluded to, at this time, we don't have any ordinance in place to allow this. We had talked about it in the past, and like I told you on the phone, we were kind of ambivalent about it, only because although the majority of the voters voted positively for it, we didn't want to scratch a wound that wasn't there. In other words, the 45% or whatever that was against it, they still love us, and why alienate them, even though your pitch and presentation, guys, were excellent.
Thank you.
Your messaging is fantastic, and your backgrounds are stellar. So But we have, it's something we need to have more discussions on before we move forward on anything like that. At one time we discussed medical marijuana. We would probably be for something like that to start, and maybe just have that, because I do see the purpose of that and mentioned to you at a personal experience why I thought that would be a good thing for people. But it's a very bold, ambitious plan that you have, and yes, we're acutely aware of the benefits of the profits that are out there. I just turned over a big check earlier. Our manager's down there. I got a check mailed to me from our cable carrier, $270,000 franchise fee. So we like that. That wasn't a terrible thing. And we would love those checks also from many other stores. So, but it's something we'll give more discussion on. It's just the start of the new year.
Absolutely.
Anything develops further, we certainly will be in touch with you guys, rather. But thank you for your presentation. I don't know if anybody else has any questions for them before they check out on us. We'll go to the next item. John, anybody, Dave,
No question.
Rob? No.
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Little presentation.
All right, thank you guys. Great presentation.
Thank you guys so much again.
Thanks for
Hopefully-
hearing us out.
Good job.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully we can keep in touch from here. Hopefully have another conversation down the road. And again, thank you very much for your guys' time. This is an incredible experience.
Actually, you know what you
thank
guys
you.
could do? Can you send us the presentation?
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Absolutely, guys.
Are all of
Or
your
Rob,
the website directory?
Yeah,
Yes.
it's on our website.
Okay, perfect. We'll send that right to you guys right now.
Thank you.
good. Okay.
Have a good
Thank
night,
you, guys.
Have a good one,
Thanks
guys.
for
Thank you
joining
again
us.
so much. Hope to hear from you guys soon.
All right, take care. All right. Next item we have on here is D2. Facility use updates.
Chris, you're locked. We're having a hard time hearing you.
Then
Yeah, now we could hear you.
for you, or we have Tom and Nick, I think at the bottom here. Oh, there.
Yeah, we have Tom and Mike Patrico's here, and I see Mike Beeson on, probably to address the same issue. So our town manager, Tom Henshaw, is just unmuting himself, and we'll be right with him. Chris, you seem to be locked for it.
You got me now, Ben, or no?
Yeah, now we do.
Terrible.
Good evening, everybody. We received a request to use John Palea Park in February for a movie night. It's 2 nights, correct?
Yeah, it's 2 nights.
For 2 nights, and going over the request, there's quite a few things that we have doubts about with the property, and some of them deal with idling of the vehicles. The state law is only 3 minutes, and they're going to watch a movie for a couple hours. So we don't know how that would turn out with people in the town that follow guidelines from the state. In February, you have freezing and thawing of the property. So if you're going to have cars there, there's probably going to be ruts in there that are going to have to be repaired in the spring. There's only one porta potty there, and that's for
The park.
at the park. So we need more there. You need volunteers to park the vehicles, electric setup, lights, and finally there's a state mandate from the governor where outdoor gatherings is supposed to be no more than 25 people or less. So I don't know how this whole thing would go down.
Tom, you cut out on that. What's the governor's number?
20 outdoor gatherings are 25 people or less. Even though I know they're in cars, it's still a gathering at a place. I don't know what, council wishes to do here, but I guess I need some direction.
Mike, is this yours? Is this for you?
Yeah, well, it's not for me. So thank you, council, and everybody on the line. My name's Mike Beeson. I live on the Fells Way in Ocean Township. I'm helping the Ocean Township Spartan players, the drama club at the school. As we all know, COVID has been devastating to our kids. And the kids just, the director and the administration did a film this year instead of a play indoors, which was impossible to do. So they filmed it during the fall from September through late November, all outside. Kids are so excited. It's a terrific film, so many volunteers. And the thought was, well, let's try to have it a drive-in movie. And I've been pursuing this with the town since maybe November. I spoke to the mayor about it. And I get that you guys have some concerns. Look, I understand idling cars. I understand that. These are all things we can do. And I've been trying to have a conversation about this for months. And I'm with the kids and the families and the administration, the schools are willing to do anything. We have a vendor set up that has done the drive-ins before. We're going to use his screen. We're going to use his audio visual equipment. Look, this is for the kids. They're Ocean Township residents. Let's just figure out how to do it. I'm willing to do anything. I'll direct traffic, no problem. I'll find volunteers to direct traffic. I don't care how cold it is. These kids have been trying so hard. So my thing is, where there's a will, there's a way. Just tell me what you need. And the kids already, look, the cat's out of the bag. They think it's going to be there. All the parents and families all excited. So
Why would
whatever.
they think that?
What?
Why would they think that if you don't have approval yet?
Because we were certainly given the impression that it was going to be okay. So.
By who?
By folks in town. I've had conversations with folks. I thought it was, look, I didn't print the posters. The kids got a little ahead of themselves, so I'm sorry about that. But
Mike,
why not?
Go ahead, Rob.
Chris.
I was going to
No,
say,
go
how do you plan on dealing with the idling issue? It's going to be cold. It's February, bro. I think the terrain will hold up. I don't think we're going to put ruts in the frozen ground, but the cold.
Okay,
with the idling.
An idling issue is that for? I don't know the statute, but isn't that for trucks and buses? We're talking about cars. I don't know if that's the same.
It's for cars too, like they pull up to Wawa, they leave their car, they run inside for 10 minutes and they come out.
Okay, so can we get an exemption? These are unprecedented times.
Why not do it in March or April, Mike, when it's warmer, so you don't have to worry about that?
Because they're already going to be starting another production. They're trying to do another production. They've been waiting since November. And keep in mind, some of these kids worked on a play last year that never took place.
Yeah.
So
here's Mike. My feeling is this: you got your own everything screen, your own sound. All you need is a use of the property.
Yes.
So me personally, if that's all you're doing, and you don't get a ticket for idling, I can't say that the towns. We're not the ones that issue summons for that. I don't know where that would come from. If you can get around that, that's God bless you. Go ahead. But like I said, I think that's going to be one of your issues there. And it's cold. You'd be in a car after 10 minutes, it gets cold. You got to fire it up again for 10.
The idea was.
Can I just chime in real quick? I've been in touch with Mike back in October, November. I explained to him the process. I told him to get me the application to use the park. I just received it last week. The application to use the park. I understand. I fully support this idea. I expressed this to Mike. I really do. I asked to be at a later date, but I still asked, please submit the application so we could review it. So now the play is in 2 weeks. The line's got to be painted on the field by DPW. There has to be police. There has to be bathrooms. There's things that need to take place for this to happen safely. I'm totally on board, to have this production. And I want to do it for the kids in the community. But the proper steps were not taken by any means for him to have this play at the park, in the playground. If we can get it done all by this and we can do it safely, I agree, but I need to see some type of plan in place to have this movie.
Fine.
Is this a fundraiser, Mike?
No, it's just it's the premiere of the film. They filmed this thing last year. It's called what is it? The history of dating. So they actually filmed it. It's like a drive-in premiere, like a red carpet for all the kids to watch.
So if
And
I may, who's spending, who's paying for all of the costs? I mean, because we do this, we know what it costs to do it. So who's funding?
the township, the drama players, the the Ocean Township High School drama players, they have a fund. They get
So do
programming.
you know how much this is? I mean, you're gonna have to pay for police, you're gonna have to pay for the porta potties, you're gonna have
Really? You're gonna have to play for police? That's not really? I'm sorry if I'm surprised that this is something for the kids. And I'm the taxpayer, and look, I'm not saying everything was done correctly. People are really busy. The teachers are doing the best. I've been working with them. It's very hard to do this remotely. I get it, Rob. I get it, everybody. I'm willing to do whatever it takes. I'm just trying to help. I'm a volunteer, just like, and it's just extraordinary times.
I think it's a great idea. I'd love to see it happen. I don't think you should or would I authorize or approve, excuse me, something in February. Put the application in, let it go through its normal course. Let's get a date. Because I don't know if you have the money. Do you even have the money to do it, Mike?
Yes, Rob, we have the funds. We've got an estimate for the AV equipment. It's like $3,000. They have the money. Yes.
You're also charging $20 per car.
Okay.
I have a flyer here that says $20 per car. It's a bargain.
Okay.
So, you are charging for it.
Okay, she's charging. I was unaware of that, but yes, they're probably charging to defray some of the costs. Boy, I get it. I understand. And if it was any other time, we wouldn't even be here. But it's unprecedented times. And yes, we didn't go through the proper channels, or we didn't get back to you. I'm sorry. This poor teacher is doing this all by herself. She has to edit the thing. She has to put together the playbill. All these things the kids have been doing, and she's been doing on her own. I would have had her on tonight if I knew you wanted her. So you guys want to say, look, Rob, you want to say no? Fine, say no.
I want to say postpone it. I don't think you can get it done in 2 weeks. Mike,
you tell the kids. I'm sorry, you can tell the kids that you're going to have to postpone this yet again.
No. I'm going to tell the kids, Mike, that the person didn't put the application in on time. Don't push it on us. You just submitted it last week.
It is you guys. I've been talking about this for months. I've had conversations with the mayor. Look, do what you guys want. I'm telling you right now, I will do whatever it takes to get it done. I will get volunteers. If we need to raise more money or get money from the high school administration, I'll do it. I'll do it. Yes, things got a little, hairy in terms of putting out flyers for that approval.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Hey, can I speak for a second? So, Mike, obviously didn't go as smoothly as we would like, but I do agree with you. This is an unprecedented time. I think these kids need a break. I'm sure these teachers could use a break. I would love to see this happen in some capacity. If there's anything that we can do on our end to expedite and get this thing done. The only thing I have concern about, though, is I don't want to violate the governor's rules, and there's not going to be any waivers unless you've got a hook and you can make a phone call. I don't know, we don't want to be on the hook for those type of
rules about what?
I want to help any way I can.
The rules about
25 people, Mike.
But 25 people in their cars. How is that? What's the outside number now? Is it like 250? They're in their cars. They're not. This is inside their car.
I'm going to yield to Tom on that. I thought he said 25. I'm taking his word for it.
It's 25 right now, but
I don't believe it changed, but
it's in the car. They're not getting out of their cars. They're in the car. It's a drive-in.
When did those numbers
Trust me, we went through
outside?
this when we put the drive-in through, when we started the drive-in in the summer.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Yeah, but
Tom,
the
when
rules
did those
changed
numbers come
since then.
through 25 outside?
you know when?
yeah, the day after the Christmas tree. When we had Santa come to Joe Playa Park, it was the day after that is when the rules changed.
They changed them down outside in a car down to 25?
Outdoor gatherings is at 25.
Okay,
So-
but they're in the car. They're in a
So
car.
maybe with the cars, if they stay in the car, it wouldn't be an
Maybe, yeah,
issue.
maybe that doesn't count. Maybe that's not an issue. But the issue
Yeah, I
is
don't
it
think
has
it's an
to be
issue.
a
Yeah, I would say that the idea of it being in a car, I think that's a different issue. That's not the same as 25 people gathering. However, the idling issue is a different issue. And people sitting in their car with the car on for, 2 hours, whatever, I don't know what problems that presents, but certainly there's the issue of the idling. I guess too bad Channel 77 can't have pay-per-view, because that would be a good to put this on TV.
Listen, I am sorry if I sound, I'm frustrated. It's nobody's fault. I just, my son's in it. Obviously, that's why I have and I just feel bad for the kids. These kids don't play athletics. They don't get to go out into the football field. This is it for them. This is it for them. And I don't want another year to go by when a senior class doesn't get to celebrate, and they wanted to celebrate. And believe me, I tried to get them to push this a little bit, but they wanted to do it last fall. They usually have a performance in the fall, and they're so excited. It's going to be like a red carpet, and it's just,
Mike,
like
it's a great, Mike, good idea. I don't know, again, if you can get all those answers tomorrow, because when we first came up with this concept of drive-in movies and concerts, the restrictions were in place as far as outside gatherings, and Murphy said no, even in the car, even with the drive-in. So if you can call their office tomorrow, you know who to call. You can
call and find out. Sure.
Call Murphy. I mean, you know him. Ask the governor. Call the police. I'm serious. The guy knows him. Call the chief of police about the overtime for the guys, and then call the porta potty people. If you can get all that done, I'm good.
I am too, Mike. If Tom and let me yield to Tom and Mike. If they're good, I'm good. If they think they can get it done and you're not going to violate any of township ordinances, any government regulations with regard to COVID, and they think you can get it done in 2 weeks, I'm in favor of it. I think you should push it, but if Tom and Mike can make it happen with you, they got my vote.
So we'll work with Mike. We want to see it done also. Kids are only in school for a certain amount of time. We'll do what we can, but there's certain things that need to be addressed, so we're not left hanging out there by the general public if something goes wrong.
But can I just go back to one issue that I was unaware of in terms of, maybe the police explorers can help with directing traffic like they do for events. And in addition,
we haven't used them. We don't use them during COVID times, really. We've kept the kids out of it. And like I said, the chief might have guys, but you have to work that out with them directly. The school should, like we do with our events.
And then I don't, and when we're talking police overtime, I'm not sure about that one. Maybe I just thought it was a public event that it wouldn't cost the school, essentially, our Board of Ed, money for.
I don't know. Again, Board of Ed, have Kenny Generone call the chief or the director. I don't know how that works. You're gonna have to work that out yourselves.
Okay. I'm willing to do whatever it takes for the kids. And you know what's going to happen? Probably going to snow. So.
Absolutely. Well, your intentions are great, Mike, and we want to see kids.
It's not me. It's the kids that want to do this. So.
Right. Well, we want to see them enjoy themselves.
So what's the next step?
You call Murphy. You call Chief. You call Porta Pot. Those three things.
Okay. And I got you too. To be honest, it's the park. I'm for it. Like, I'm gonna make it happen with you. I need to see a plan in place.
And then you got to call Mike Petrucco, right?
Okay, I got it.
It's still the park. I want to be in the loop when it comes to things that involve the park, so we could have avoided what we're doing right now. This is the conversation I wanted to have with you on what it entails instead of doing it 2 weeks prior.
I totally agree with you, Mike, and we could go over that later, but, and I would be remiss if I said, look, I know you guys are trying. I know how hard you've all been working as elected officials, so thank you. And, it's not an easy job you have on Zoom. So I appreciate, and I appreciate, you know, Rob, all your concerns, everybody. And it's just, we'll do the best we can, and I will work with Mike and everybody else to get this done.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Thanks for coming.
It's Mike.
As a resident,
Mayor,
Yes.
Jack
Yes.
Kearns has a question. Jack Kearns has a question.
Go ahead, Jack.
Mayor, I think you guys all have a very positive attitude, and I think you're all willing to go the extra mile to help the kids out, and I say go for it.
Thank you.
Yeah, we're trying. Thank you, Jack. We're trying.
Thank you.
Okay. We have tonight Greg Blash. You still on, Greg?
Yep, I'm here.
So, Greg, we're just briefly, I don't know if we hit the agenda, but we're going to talk about the dog park location, guys. And Greg and I were talking, and he mentioned one of this bit. Is it okay?
Yeah, go right ahead, Chris.
So the one area he was talking about was in front of the Turner Estate there, you know, that grassy field or meadow called the Lee, right in the front there on Beale Road. I had promised that a few years ago to Maggie Boyce that she can grow it and make it into that field, which she did, which is nice. And it's a habitat for animals and also for the butterfly, et cetera. But just a little bit northwest of there, between the tower and the library, I think would be a doable spot for a dog park, if you guys know that location. And you have the parking back there. And so I would say just north of the end of the library and in between the library and the tower, there's an area there. We had a flea market there a few years ago, believe it or not. But I think that would be a better location rather than that field in the front.
Yeah, just so everybody's aware, I went through and I gave the mayor a list and I gave Tom a list of, I came up with 8 different properties, 10 possibilities. And it just seems, you know, there's 4 of them that have wetlands problems and associated buffers. I'll send everybody an email with these lists on there so you can see what I'm talking about. And then, of course, Palea Park, we know it's too high a volume with the kids. DeRouge Park had some wetlands problems, but it just seems that Turner track back in there, be in front of the water tower behind the library, has a nice spot where we can actually, they're small enough, we can divide it into a large dog, small dog area. And I think we can make that work pretty nicely in there.
Any issues with Green Acres?
No, Green Acres is usually pretty receptive of us putting any kind of athletic or recreational improvement in. They're just more worried about putting in parking lots. That's why I've been trying to look for sites that we don't have to do any infrastructure, and this would qualify for one other than a fence.
I'm pretty sure we carved out several acres that we own there, like we did the pool. So I don't think Green Acres. But we'll check with them. I don't think that they're in play on that piece.
And are you thinking they're going to park at the library? Chris, I can't exactly think. I mean, I got the general area. Are you thinking they're going to park at the library and walk through, around, or are they parking on the street?
Probably along the drive aisle there, and maybe in the back. Some of them may park it. Some may go in the library. Depends when they go.
We also have space at Human Services that they can park it on the weekends.
Yeah, on the weekends and after 4 o'clock, it's really seldom a problem over there.
Yeah.
And I think that's its highest use is most likely going to be weekends. You get a few people there during the day.
I have a contact up at Green Acres. I can give them a call and just run it by them. I'm sure it'll be okay.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
I like the location too, because you're not in somebody's backyard. You know, nobody's got a pool back there. And,
right, with the pool and the dog droppings, you don't want that.
Yeah, so it is a good isolated location for that.
Correct.
Yeah, if you guys would like, since we seem to kind of focus on this, I'd like to do a little site plan that give to Tom, and we can probably give the site plan to the Green Acres people, but also so you guys have it, so you know exactly what we're talking about. And if there's any public comments on this, we can show them the map.
That'd be great.
Hey, Greg, I know this is a question that sort of puts the cart before the horse, but do we have a model from somebody else as far as rules and regulations and things, or is that something we talk about later?
Yeah, we could talk about later. We do have other models, but there's not really a lot of rules at a dog park, believe it or not. We're just going to go large and small, and then and various things about picking up the waste and some things we have to add in there. We're going to have some benches and whatnot, and some the poop bag things. But yeah, just general obedience type things also.
Okay, we can have a large sign put up before entering the park of the do's and don'ts of the dog parks. Make it easier for everybody.
Great.
Yeah.
Hey, one last question. I just pulled it up on Google Maps or Google Earth, whatever. So that area is not cleared. We'd have to clear it.
Now it's currently lawn area.
Really?
It's
Yeah,
the area.
there's one big,
Driveway, the right turn to go to Human Services Building. It's the area right to the north of you there. It's kind of sweeps.
Okay. Oh, that is good. Okay, got it. All right, thank you.
Yeah, and it has a lot of visibility, which is nice, so
Yeah.
nobody will have any problems finding it.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect.
all right, good. So
I'll
make
do a plan
draw it
and we'll
up.
get it to you guys.
Sounds good. Thanks, Greg. Anybody have
All right,
anything
thank
else for
you,
Greg? We're paying him by the minute here.
You know what? I just
Hi.
sent Tom and Mark an email right before this meeting, Greg. And Tom, I'm not putting you on the spot here, but I know we've been asking to get the drainage fixed in Joe Palea by the maintenance buildings back there. And I know it's part of the 2021 road program.
Yes.
I got a couple of emails saying, is there anything we could do temporarily to drain that? I don't know if that's you, if Tom, I just sent it to you before the meeting.
Yeah, what we can do is, you don't want to put coal patch in, because what'll happen is
Right.
you put coal patch in and people complain that it's getting on my vehicle and everything else. What you can do is put some crushed concrete in there, try to push the water out. So this way, at least it's not too bumpy until we pave it this year.
Yeah, we'll come up with a temporary solution.
If it's not that expensive, I mean, they'll go. I know it's coming up in a couple of months, I hope. But you saw the picture. Greg, I can send it to you. And I'll send it to everybody. I just got it to Tom real quick.
Yeah, no, I've gotten them from several people in the last year and a half as well. So I think the crushed stone thing for temporarily would do something.
Yeah, we'll do something over there.
We'll take a look at it.
Thanks, guys.
Good.
Hey, Greg, while I got you here, so I saw they put the patch in front of the fire station over on Deal Road there. What's the status, I guess, as far as getting that, done, milled, and, when it's time to pave? Can we become a priority? Is that just a lot of people have been asking that?
Yeah, no, it's definitely a priority. We wanted to try to get that done before winter actually hit, and we didn't make it. But no, that's scheduled to be paved as soon as it gets warmer. So we're probably looking end of March, early April. We just don't want to do it in the cold weather because it's not really conducive to do paving. That's going to last a long time. Yeah. But we'll keep fixing it until we get into that time where we can do a permanent fix.
All right.
All right, good. All right, last item. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I have one thing. It's
Sure.
a minor. The Environmental Commission has noticed a lot of vines around some of the parks, and they want our permission to take them down and get rid of them. I don't see an issue with it since they're going to do the work themselves. The only thing our Public Works would probably have to do is pick up the vines and take them to the landfill or whatever they do with it.
Yeah, pick up the brush. That's fine.
So, Tom, in years past, the Environmental Commission actually did a 2-weekend, one in the spring, one in the fall, where they actually went in there and cleaned up. Tom Crochet, the former DPW manager, would have a couple of his guys there with the truck. He'd bring some tools. They'd bring some chainsaws to clear out the underbrush. I'm not suggesting, I'm just giving you history. And that probably was attended by, throughout the day, 20 people, give or take. So just FYI, I'm not saying we need to go that far. If all they're doing is looking for permission, that's great. But DPW in the past would have probably 4 people on from maybe 8 till 12.
Okay, we can coordinate that along with the cleanup also, to make it more bang for our buck.
Yeah, okay. That sounds good. All right. Let's get to that last item here. Then we have our 2021 council meetings. Everybody had a chance to review it?
Yeah, the reason why I wanted to touch base is obviously we've gone through January. Now we're looking at our meetings in February and March and moving forward. I'm assuming with the situation being what it is, we're going to continue to hold these meetings virtually. What I mentioned earlier to a couple people that were on before the meeting started, Steve Arian has gone out and purchased another platform for virtual meetings that hopefully will maybe clean up some of the problems we're having with the current one that we use. So we're going to try that out over the next couple days and hopefully
Great.
make a move over to something that works a little better than the go-to meetings that we're trying to use. But I'm assuming everybody's in agreement moving forward, at least for the next couple months, we'll continue to stay virtually.
Yes, I think that's the way to go.
I agree.
Yes.
But then we'll do that. Like I said, the only other question I have is February 6th, that Saturday budget meeting that we're going to hold. Obviously, it's, I'll leave that up to you whether you want to do it virtually. Just let me know. I think obviously Steve Gallagher always does a little presentation for you guys. So you need to just let me know how you want to move forward with that, since it's, on a Saturday, maybe you want to come in and we can distance and try to do it in person. It's up to you guys.
Yeah, you may be able to do it in the West Wing or even in the downstairs meeting room. We can spread out there.
We can spread out and do it here. So that
have the screen up.
Yep. The
You can have
February
the screen on.
we'll plan on doing in person.
Yeah, if everybody feels a little uncomfortable at that time, we can talk 3 days before and then we can zoom in and watch Steve do his presentation.
No problem. We'll touch base earlier in the week and just see how everybody feels about it. But February and March, we will continue virtual meeting.
I think so.
Thanks.
With a much better platform.
Yeah, hopefully. I have one other thing. We have a situation where a few months back, we had a vehicle that was damaged with a golf ball over around Columbia Terrace. And as we normally do, we sent it off to the insurance company. And the matter was, the reimbursement was denied by the insurance company. Obviously, the township isn't held responsible for stray golf balls. That being said, the township has in the past, when the costs are minimal, covered the repair for the resident, even if the insurance company has denied it. We did get a request from a resident to do such an act. The amount that they're looking to be reimbursed is $479 for the repair of the windshield. Again, I'm leaving it up to you guys. We've done it both ways. We've not reimbursed the resident, and there are times where we have done that. So
just let me ask you something. I didn't think the windshields were that much.
I got an estimate. I mean, apparently it's been repaired, I believe. I have the estimate from the company that repaired it. It was $479.
Okay. All right. Well, I checked with some of the private courses to see what their policies were. I think I mentioned that to you, Vin.
Yes, you
and
did.
pretty much, I mean, again, they're private clubs and they're well endowed by membership, and they pretty much, somebody drives up to the driveway and says they just got hit by a golf ball. They take care of it.
I mean, we do have a reason, I believe, and Tom, you can correct me if you know better than I do, which you probably do. I believe we do have an insurance reserve to cover some small incidental costs in our budget. So again, if that makes a difference, I know there's usually some money put aside. Again, if you want to think about it, and that's fine.
You're right, Benny. Usually some money is put aside.
Okay.
Yeah, I have no problem with, doing that. I mean, that's the first claim I've heard of in a long, long time. I'm sure you've had others, but I can't remember when.
Most people take what the insurance company says and kind of go their merry way. However, there are some times where people feel strongly that they should be reimbursed. This is one of those cases. So again, it's not an extraordinary amount of money. So.
Yeah, I think most of your damage is because the only place possible to get hit by a golf ball on our golf course really is probably going to be Wickapecco on the 9th hole, unless somebody really launched one into the highway.
Unless if Marty's playing, there's more problems.
Hey, stop that.
But I think the other possibility, and I think this has happened, is in the parking lot, somebody hits a errant shot. And maybe there's a waiver when people pull in and make sure they sign that so we're not getting any of those claims coming in.
Sure.
They just put something on the website when they sign up for a tee time. Not responsible for damage by golf ball. What time would you like, 7:30 or 7:40?
That's true. That's true. That's a good point.
I want to know who hit
All right.
golf.
Well, if you can find the person, typically they try to go after their insurance, but nobody ever fesses up.
Nobody ever hit a bad shot in golf, let's be honest.
Nobody. Marty did it.
I got 4.
Hey, Marty, why is everybody picking on you? I don't understand.
You know, I'm easy pickings. What can I tell you?
Because it's easy.
There you go. I also have another question. A resident came prior to Tom coming on board last week, came in to see me. He had a question. He owns a piece of property over on Dover Avenue, and I guess he'd like to purchase an adjacent piece. I believe the process we've used in the past is the request has gone to the tax assessor. He's done a little estimate on what he thinks the value of it is, and then we've discussed it in closed session and gotten back to the resident. I'm assuming that's the process we'd like to continue to use, and if so,
Yes.
if Tom's okay, I'll go to Jacob tomorrow and have him do a little estimate on what the value of it is.
Fine.
Thanks, Tom.
Yep.
Okay, that's all I had.
Anybody else have anything before we adjourn before the regular meeting?
Yeah, real quick, Chris, from last meeting, I brought up the professional services contracts, and I don't know if you misspoke, if you didn't have everything accurate, but you mentioned that there was a clause in all of those professional services contracts had gotten proposals within the last 3 years. None of them did. The auditing and engineering didn't get reviewed since 2017. And the co-attorneys, township planner and labor attorney haven't had an RFP or a proposal since 2008. So.
You sure? Because I kind of thought we did. I know 2017 sounds about right. We had a COVID year, so the third year was up. But I kind of remember, Marty, correct me if I'm wrong, you submitted a proposal maybe right after Andrew.
Marty wasn't on that. Yeah, Marty wasn't on. The ones that we passed last week or last meeting. So auditing, engineering, the both COAs, Jim and Ruderman. The Serenian, Clark, Higgins, and Ruderman hadn't been reviewed. The earliest we couldn't even find it was 2008. So we're looking at 13 years since they've put any proposal in.
Let me just clarify. So each year, every professional submits a proposal. I think what Councilman Achara is talking about is we haven't formally gone out for requests for proposals for certain professional services for various reasons. I mean, COA obviously has been an ongoing.
Right, I'm going to jump ship on that.
And I would concede that.
But that's,
you don't want to put the COA attorney in the middle. I get that.
Yeah, that's the difference. I mean, auditing and engineering, we have asked for formal requests for proposals in 2017. The other ones, although Marty included, submits a proposal every year, we don't do formal proposals for those that Rob mentioned.
So I just want to be clear, Chris, if there is a quote unquote clause, and I'm not saying there is or isn't, I don't know what it is, but if it's there and we're not following it, we should. And if it's not there, you know my stance, we should put one in.
Right. The one I'm going by is what Vinny had just mentioned, that they do submit themselves, but I guess as he's saying, we didn't formally go out and request 3 bids from anybody. So yeah, we can always talk about putting that in to do that. A lot of times some of these guys are working on a project that you don't want to interrupt. And like I said, even with the co-attorney and whatever auditor, I guess that's year to year. I mean, they do a good job. If you have another auditor you want to get a proposal from, we can do that.
If everybody, I'm asking, if everybody's in favor, can we draft some type of resolution that says we at least go out to RFP every 3 years?
Is it
and
RFP
we can make
or
a
RFQ?
decision to waive it. I mean, there are, and I'm not disagreeing with the COA, especially COA, frankly. I think there's a continuity there that needs to stay. But I think we
Yeah, I have no problem with I have no problem with getting proposals every 3 years, not necessarily binding us to take the lowest because we want the best, not necessarily the cheapest.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Anybody from the public have anything before we adjourn for a recess?
You guys are making to keeping this town running, and I was especially pleased with the attitude, the very positive attitude with regard to trying to help the kids out who are really stuck with all this other stuff going on. So thank you all.
Yeah. Good. Thank you, Jack. Nice to hear. All right. We're going to take a short recess until our regular scheduled meeting at 7 o'clock, and we'll log in at that time. Everybody okay with meeting adjourned?
Meeting adjourned.
All right. See you shortly.
Take care. Take care.
This conference will now be recorded.
Of the United States of America, to the republic, which is given
One
one
nation,
nation,
under God, indivisible.
indivisible, with liberty, and justice for all. Moment of silent prayer. All right, be seated, everybody. The notice requirement for the Open Public Meeting Act for this meeting has been satisfied. A copy of the annual notice was sent to the Asbury Park Press Coaster and posted in Town Hall and filed in the office of the municipal clerk on December 30, 2020. We're not going to forego the exit proceedings since this is a Zoom meeting. I will ask the public to please keep their microphones on mute throughout the meeting. The ambient noise gets picked up and interrupts the meeting. And when we have time for open discussion, you can then unmute and make your statements. And be mindful that you'll have plenty of opportunity at the conclusion of the meeting to make any comments, germane or general comments to the township. Before we move any further, I'm going to go down the horn and ask the council members if they have a statement. Why don't we start in alphabetical order just to keep things easier? Yeah. So, Rob, do you have anything?
Nothing for tonight, Mayor.
All right, that would leave Dave.
Yeah, I just wanted to quickly thank Ron Kirk for his service to the township, for filling in on a temporary basis. I think he did a really nice job, and I know it was under tough circumstances, and I just want to applaud Ron for a job well done.
Absolutely. Great. Good call. Who's up? John?
Yeah, Mr. Mayor, I just want to make a comment, actually, a few comments in regard to some comments that were made last month at a special meeting by Rob Achera in regard to yourself and I. And I held off a month only because, we were pending litigation, and I just felt that, there was some of these comments that were made towards yourself and myself were really uncalled for. There were accusations and words thrown out such as vendetta, conspiring, violating the Faulkner Act, which were serious allegations and unsubstantiated. There was a clandestine meeting over the summer in which yourself, Rob, and Councilman Fisher were called into with the then manager, along with several other people, and I'm not going to name their names out here.
Chief of Police and Ron Kirk.
Yeah, you can, and I'll finish, Rob, okay?
Well, obviously, it's pretty interesting that the mayor had me go first this time so you could go, because normally you go first. But go ahead, I'll let you finish.
That's not why Chris did it, and Chris didn't even know what I was going to say tonight. Okay,
you
Rob?
said you were going to do it a month ago.
So,
go ahead.
I forgot about the meeting, for the record.
So that's not why Chris did it. Again, your unsubstantiated claims, Rob. So let me finish. Okay, you spoke your piece last month. Now I'll speak mine. Okay. Thank you. you had your clandestine meeting and you just named all of the players that played in the little sandbox there. So at least Dave had the decency to come to me and the mayor to speak to us about these emails and other correspondence that was shared to yourself and Dave. Unfortunately, Councilwoman Donlin wasn't afforded the same opportunity, nor were Chris or myself. Somebody obviously had the IT director go through my personal emails and do some sort of investigation. Now, I don't know who authorized that, but now that the township manager's gone and we have a interim township manager, I'm gonna really ask at this point if he could find out why the IT director went through my personal email and actually had it given to you and Dave. I find it completely unacceptable. If things, Rob, as you have alleged, were so bad in this town for almost 3 years, and you said this at the last meeting, if they were so bad for 3 years, why didn't you come to the defense of the manager back then, number one? Number two, that's an indictment on the management of the town, not the mayor and deputy mayor, as you alleged. I find that to be in the poorest taste ever. What I find completely unacceptable is the fact that you would make these allegations and you continue to bring up little things. You want to talk about a team, you sign each email as a team. This is not how a team operates, Rob. I'll tell you what, I've gotten more correspondence in regard to issues that are going on in this town from this interim town manager, Tom Henshaw, in the last 2 weeks than I got in the last 2 years. Now, we're on here to govern. You're 100% correct. We're not supposed to run this town. That's up to the manager. But when I get emails and I get telephone calls, and you know you've gotten calls and emails yourself over the last 2 to 3 years, along with Chris, myself, Dave, and Margie. And I'll tell you what I want to do is get answers. And if that's a problem, well, then guess what? I'm guilty as charged. Because what I want to do, or what I wanted to do, was get answers. Remember this, Rob. It was Chris and I that wanted to hire the manager at that time. You were the one who fought against it. You and a couple of other people. We had to fight to get him in here. If you think I wanted to go through this search again, you are out of your mind. That took a lot of time, Rob. Okay? And I'll tell you what, I did stew and steam for the last month, kept my mouth shut. But you know what? I keep getting these zingers from you every single meeting, and they keep getting shot out. So you know what? I've had enough. And that's why I've said what I had to say tonight. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Well, thank you, Don. Go around the horn. Marty, you have anything? Are you on, Marty? No? Marty Arbus? No? Okay. Ben, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on.
All right, I'm just wondering if Marty's having a problem with his audio, or is he just,
No, I don't know.
I don't hear him. All right. And Tom's brand spanking new. So Tom, you have anything you'd like to offer today? Oh, is Marty there?
Well, I just want to say I'm working on trying to get some grants. Some of the council people sent me some information.
I am here, by the way.
On the grants.
Well,
oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Tom. Continue.
I'm working on some of the. I sent out a questionnaire to anybody what they were looking for as far as grants for the township, and so I'm working with the grant writers on trying to put together some grants that we can hopefully use this year and not wait till next year on.
Great. Yes, and I thank you for that. And you did reach out to me to see if there's anything else, and I do appreciate the communications.
And just one more thing,
good.
just so everybody realizes, this coming weekend we're supposed to get some bad weather on Sunday night, and our public works has been putting together plans to take care of the storm. So.
Yes, that's good. They always have a good plan, and we keep the folks informed all the way on that one. So that'll be good. hopefully we prepare for the worst and hope for the best.
This is true. That's all I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Good. Thanks, Tom. Doing a good job. Marty, you have anything before I go in?
No, I don't know. Apparently I was muted. I don't know how to unmute it on the phone. So I have nothing.
That's not a bad thing. All right. I do want to echo what Dave Fisher said about Ron Kirk. I think Ron took the wheel while we're doing 60 miles an hour, was able to jump in there. And we thank him for that. He did a great job. And, you know, the whole thing with the December 3rd, I'm not going to go into it. You know, look, 5 of us pretty much concurred that Mr. Masilla wasn't doing his job. We dismissed the manager, and now we're on a search for a new manager. 4 of us voted to relieve him, unfortunately, but that was that's just the way that works sometimes. They are in a hot seat. It's not the mayor or council who are to blame for anything that goes wrong, although we take the blame. But, you know, typically it's the manager runs the job. He gets paid 40 times what we get paid, and you know, the buck stops there, basically. You know, we have an agenda and a you know, policies, and manager has to carry that through. At any rate, we look forward to a brighter 2021. And so that being said, let me move on with the agenda here. Second, I put my glasses on. The purpose of the public portion is to solely ask questions of understand resolutions that appear on an agenda, and not an occasion for a public hearing on an ordinance. All questions not related to an item on this agenda should be asked during the public comment portion at the end or the conclusion of the meeting. Does anybody have anything from the public as to the consent agenda or the resolutions? Now would be the time to state your name and address for the record. And then I'm also going to ask that if you're not speaking, please mute your phone because we're picking up some ambient noise there. Anybody from the public on there? No? Okay.
Mayor, are you going to speak about, I had read the agenda and there's something about a bond. Are you about a $2 million bond? Are you going to go through that, or you're just asking about the agenda in general? Are you going to go?
Right now, yeah, the bond, well, there's a bond ordinance on, is for introduction only. So that's just going to be introduced, and that's that. There won't be any discussion on it this time. It'll have a public hearing at the next meeting in February.
Okay.
So for resolutions and consent agenda, anybody else? No? Seeing and hearing no one, someone please offer the minutes of the January 14th, 2021 workshop and resolutions 2017 through, excuse me here, 2022. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Also tonight we have vouchers in the amount of $7,137,787.77. Someone please offer.
I'll offer the vouchers.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Tonight we have resolution 2123, authorize a maintenance contract for the police communications console equipment with Wireless Communication and Electronics, Inc. for the period of January 1st through December 31st, 2021, at a cost not to exceed $18,000. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Fisher.
Yes.
And Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. Okay. Also, 2024, authorize the following 2021 contracts for the William F. Larkin Golf Course at Colonial Terrace. A, Green Chasers LLC for $12,000, and B, Vic Gerard Golf Cart LLC, $19,320. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani.
Yes.
Council members Achara.
Yes.
Donlin. Fisher.
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes. 2025, authorize the formal cancellation of contracts whose projects and/or services are now completed. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, 2026, authorize the tax collector to issue refunds/credits to those taxpayers who have received favorable state tax appeal judgments. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second. I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and 21-27, extend the contract for the recapit of tires, accessories, and road service with Edwards Tire Company, Inc. for a one-year period, January 1st through December 31st, 2021. Someone please offer.
I'll offer.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and tonight for introduction only, we have ordinance number 2351. Vin, would you read the title, please?
Bond ordinance amending ordinance 2340, increasing the authorized bonds or notes to be issued by $128,250 for a total debt authorization of $2,215,250.
Great. Someone please introduce ordinance 2351.
I'll introduce ordinance 2351.
Second.
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Council members Achara,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, and that'll have its public hearing at the February, then,
11th,
11th meeting. Great.
February
At
11th.
this time, February 11th, we got it, brother. At this time, we're going to open up the public hearing. Anybody has anything germane to the township, please be mindful of your time. Try to limit you to 5 minutes and be concise and have your thoughts together. Anybody have anything? State your name and address for the record.
Yes, I do. Dennis Howlett, 1638 Holbrook Street.
Uh-huh. Hey, Dennis.
I just wanted to, I'm sorry?
Hello.
Did you say something, Mayor?
I said hello.
Oh, hi. I just wanted to update on a topic I brought up at the last meeting, where I voiced my concern about the potential danger to pedestrians and clients in the library that might happen when the new entrance exit is added to the library parking lot, which could allow the library parking lot to become a rat race where cars are going through there to avoid the light at Logan Road. And at your suggestion, I contacted the traffic safety officers in town, and it's Lieutenant Gregory now, Mayor, and Officer Krug, and they both replied to me, Lieutenant Gregory first, and we had a nice long conversation, and I think he shares my concern about the potential for danger there that might happen as cars race through the parking lot. I shouldn't say race, as cars use the parking lot to get to the new complex, or they exit the complex and go back through the parking lot to avoid the light at Logan Road. I think he sees potential for danger at a less level than I do, but he does say it's there is a potential for that. Officer Krug was also very supportive, but Mr. Lieutenant Gregory had some ideas, and I think they were reasonable ideas of the things the town can do to obviate the use of the parking lot as a pass-through. And they make sense to me. I didn't agree with all of them. Where we kind of disagreed was that he thinks the town should wait pretty much until the development is done and see what type of activity happens there. I'm more of the idea that it would be a pretty good idea to try to address this in a preventive maintenance idea. And Lieutenant Gregory was amenable to attending a meeting. If we had one, I don't really know where to go with this right now. If we had one to discuss the potential issues there, but I wanted to get back to you and let you know that I had done that.
Good. I appreciate that. I prematurely gave Lieutenant Gregory a promotion to captain at the last meeting, which I'm sure eventually he'll deserve. But
He's
yes,
gonna send
Lieutenant
you a
Gregory
bill for the
is.
pay difference. Yeah.
Okay.
The one
Well,
thing.
yeah. So we'll.
What?
Go ahead.
Yeah. The one thing that came up that both he and I didn't know the answer to, or he thought he knew the answer to one, and we're talking basically about the structure of the urban jug handle. Do you know who owns the urban jug handle at BJ's now? Who actually owns that?
Yeah, BJ's.
BJ's does, but the
Yes.
town has to maintain it, right?
No, BJ's is paving it. BJ's has to maintain it. In fact, we've required them to pave it again this year and maintain it. And if they're not going to do it, we're going to do it early spring. But that's BJ's problem, and it's like that.
Yeah, if I could, Mr. Mayor, if you can hear me.
Sure.
It is owned by not BJ's, but the owner of the property. BJ's is not the owner of the property.
Right. I'm sorry. Right.
But the understanding was when they got their approvals is that they would get it to a certain level that it was acceptable to the township, and then it would be transferred to the township. That has never happened. As a result, they still own it, and they still have to get it to that level of acceptability. Once that's done, then they can dedicate it to the township. We have never accepted the dedication because of the status of the road.
That makes perfect sense. I think Lieutenant Gregory is under a different impression about the status of that, and that BJ's had pretty much reneged on their part of the commitment. But I'll follow through with that, and if somebody could help me understand that, then we could get Lieutenant Gregory on the same page with that. And because of that,
it's been a process. It has been a process getting the work done. Okay.
Right. And because of that discussion, I was curious as who's going to own the urban jug handle at the corner of Deal Road and Route 35. And Lieutenant Gregory had his opinion on that. He says it certainly isn't going to be the state because it doesn't come anywhere near to conforming what the state would require. Is Paramount or whoever is the owner of record for that complex, are they going to own the jug handle?
I'm not sure. Yeah, I would assume that similarly, they have to get it to the proper paving. They have to get everything done properly. I would think at that point it would become municipal property, but I don't really know. I'm not quite sure right now what the approvals provide.
I was actually hoping Ron would be at the meeting tonight. Do you know who would have the answer to that?
Probably the developer.
The developer,
I think the jug handle is the developer's.
Jackie, wait.
It could be the developer, it could be the board attorney. It might be in the resolution. I don't have a copy of the resolution that I've looked at.
Yeah, I'm going to try and follow up with Ron on that. Because one of the questions that came up about ways to obviate people going through the library parking lot is to make, say, a no right turn out of the parking lot to go into the complex, or making the road in front of Monmouth, the museum, a one-way, or pretty much making it impossible, taking away the temptation to go through that, and where the signs might have to go and that sort of things. And I was wondering who owns where their property ends and the township property begins, because the township can basically do what you want to do, whatever's necessary to make it safe for the township residents. So I'll follow up with Ron on that and try and get back to you.
Okay. Sounds good.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Mayor, can I just pick up where Dennis left off there? Because we didn't coordinate this kind of meeting, but I wanted to speak about the accident reports at that corner, at that intersection. And I only have half of the 2020 completed, but I focused on the summer. And in July and both in July and August, there were 7 crashes at that intersection, 7 in July, 7 in August. more than one a week. In fact, one day an accident happened in the morning, and the same day one happened in the afternoon. Another
Right.
day, I guess it was in July. Yeah, two happened in one day, one morning, one night, and then two in the same week. So it's really a problem. I mean, July there's 7 crashes, August 7 crashes, September 5 crashes, October 4 crashes, November 2 crashes, December 7 crashes. I mean, this is crazy, and that's with 2 of the 4 corners open space. So, to everybody, anyone who's listening, we are hoping, of course, that on February 12th, when we have a hearing about, the planning board procedures, or lack of us having maybe enough attention paid to our concerns in terms of safety, maybe this won't go through. And I guess that's why I wanted to talk about the bond, because I thought perhaps if that does get turned down in the end, Mayor, would you give consideration to purchasing it back at the same 10 million that the owner paid for it?
Sure, if he would sell it to me for that, absolutely.
Great, thank you. That's wonderful. That's good news.
But it's his property, his price.
No, I know. Do you know if they have their DOT permits yet? Because that's what I was trying to say too with Dennis. I spoke to the person at DOT. They said all of the road improvements and everything that they're now asking for necessary changes, will all be at the expense of the developer. So I don't think that they have to pay for it. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Was that it?
Yeah, that's it.
Anybody else? No?
I had something, Mayor, if I may.
Sure, Jack.
Some of the contracts or whatever you call them, these things that you put out for people to bid on to do services for the township. I talked to Vinny about this a little earlier today. Some of those are dated somewhat between the times that the contracts were first made and they carry them by every 3 years or something like that. I don't understand all the details, but I wondered if that was being tended to tightly, because it seems like some of these things, from what I understand, would go many years before they're finally really take a hold of them and see if they're within reason, or if the increases that maybe a particular vendor or supplier might have, it goes beyond some amount. And how do you keep track of it? And I was thinking about how might I manage that without really understanding the details of it. But a couple of years ago, you guys went through a process of changing the tax process for property, for real estate here in the township, every 5 years or something. I forget exactly what it is.
We bought onto the demonstration program with Monmouth County.
Okay, and that seems very fine. It doesn't hit anybody with a big jump in 1 year or versus spreading out over time and so forth. And I wondered if something like that might also be a technique that you might use for these contracts with these special agents and so forth to do work for us, to maybe provide better oversight. I'm not sure. And I don't know if it's worth it. The conversation I had with Vincent was informative, but there was a lot of details that we just couldn't get into. I mean, I'm not equipped to do that. But I just wondered, that's something that the town council might want to revisit, how they do that, the process itself, frequency, stuff like that,
Yeah, good stuff, Jack. It's not that we ignore it. It's there's an old saying, it's expensive to be cheap. Costs a lot of money because you want to get high quality service. I mean, I consider us a 5-star town, and we really want the best possible service. We'll pay a little more for it also. Now, if something's lacking or something slips through the crack, that's on the manager. He should be bringing that up to us. Hey, it's time to rebid this, or you should do that. I mean, we keep an eye on it as much as possible as well, but it's a collaborative effort.
Okay, so there is a checkpoint of some kind that goes on, either the town manager or somebody does it to kind of, so things don't slip out of control or something because of something that happens. And the way things happen, you can have a big increase in something 1 year and nothing the next or whatever. I realize that. Plus, some of these things you got to use a little common sense. Gee, they increased it, by 10%, but look how much more they're doing, and look at the fine job they're doing, or whatever. That's a judgment.
Absolutely.
That's a judgment thing that I expect the town and the town manager would have. I just wanted to mention it because I thought it was something that maybe somebody would want to have some comment from the residents from that.
Yep. No, good stuff. Thank you for bringing it up.
The other
Okay.
thing, before I hang up, I would just like to comment on a couple of things that have happened. Every once in a while, I need to get the police department involved in something. Somebody's double parked on the street where I live or whatever. And boy, those guys are really responsive. And the other nice part is after they've corrected or taken care of whatever particular thing I reported, they let me know how they did. And I just think that's a courtesy that is really nice to have, to feel like maybe, so I just think that that's good.
It's a hometown police department. They really do watch out for the residents.
Yes, and I like when they wave to me as they drive by sometimes too. Just to say, yeah, we know you're there. We know you're there, and I know that they do.
That's good to hear.
They're a class act. They really are.
They are. Good to hear, Jack.
Thank you.
Mayor, I have a quick question. Were you at the zoning and adjustments meeting the other night? Were you listening in on that at all?
No, I was not. I missed that.
Okay. If this gets passed through the zoning and adjustments and they change the zoning to accommodate that plan, that project for the school, does it then have to go to the planning board?
No, it's a zoning board issue because it's a change of zone. So it would happen there. And if they do that to accommodate the fire department and I guess the school as well, that's up to the board.
So then it doesn't have to go to the planning board in terms of, because they're planning, as I understand, to demo the Copper Gables home, that big estate looking.
That may trigger a future planning board meeting. I'm not sure, but what they're trying to achieve here, the land swap and the rezoning to accommodate both the fire department, to make that more accessible for the firemen, to make it safer for the township, and also for the school, I guess, to be on one campus. That's what I understand is they're trying to do.
But if they're going to knock one building down and build another, I would think it would have to go through the planning board to see scale and fitting in, right?
No,
it's residential.
Not necessarily, Jackie. If they come up with a zone for that piece of property and they can knock a building down and fit a new building on there, as long as it's within the setbacks with just building permits.
But they were asking for a lot of variances regarding the setbacks, actually.
Right, that'll happen at this zoning board, or not.
Is it who owned it? Do you know who owned the home before the school purchased it?
There was probably several owners. Went back to Mr. Rawson back in the day, where Rawson Circle is on the old orchard in the back. I know the property at one time went from Deal Road to West Park Avenue all along Poplar, and there was hundreds of acres of apple orchards in the back. That was all part of the Rawson estate. And prior to Rawson, I heard that I think Gimbo owned it for a short period of time or whatever. But the old house was remodified, or I guess transformed back in the 80s and 90s into offices, engineering offices, law offices. Kind of lost its charm at that time, believe it or not. It would have been hard to restore it back to an old majestic home that it was built at that way back in the day.
From the landscape, though, from the streetscape, it looks still very beautiful. I've never been inside, but
it's all really chopped up now.
Who owned it when it became a business zone?
There was a LLC. I'm not sure who the players were, Jackie.
Okay. So did we know when it was for sale? I guess I'm just curious. Did we have an opportunity to perhaps buy that house ever?
No. Well, there's always an opportunity to buy any property, but I don't think at that time the mayor and council were looking to buy that property back in the 90s. I don't think they saw any value in doing that.
I was thinking it would make a beautiful mayor's house, kind of like Gracie Mansion in Manhattan.
In that case, I'm all for it. Let's get it. I didn't know you were thinking that way. Let's do that. Vinny, get on it.
And I think it would be Wonderful
Yeah.
for the council to have their offices downstairs. You have that majestic
Tom,
building.
make them an offer they can't refuse.
Okay. I'll make some lawn signs.
Yes, sir.
There was one
That's
thing I
great.
remembered, but it didn't come up in the discussions. At one point, there was a concern about traffic there. I forget whether it was the firehouse or that building or the combination of the two. But I didn't hear that. So apparently that's been taken care of, has been addressed. So
I guess, Jack, I wasn't at the meeting. I just know from what someone is telling me, one of the firemen way back when they mentioned it, they were talking about the swap, and they were saying, gee, it'd be so much more convenient and better for the public if we can access both Poplar and Deal Road. And that's all I heard about it. I really didn't see the plans, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Anybody else have anything? I can't see the screen because my visual's not working. Just have the audio. I'm relying on Vinny to let me know where we're at.
Nobody else, Mayor, that I can say.
All right, seeing or hearing no one, I want to thank you guys all for joining. I do want to give a shout out to everybody who sent the well wishes, condolences for the passing of my mom. Big thank you to the township for what they've done for us during this, trying time, and police department for offering that wonderful escort. My brothers and I really appreciated it. It was a nice touch, and we really do appreciate it. The guys were well coordinated, looked like a ballet out there. You don't realize what they go through when they have to do something like that, but it's well orchestrated. So kudos to the police department. Thank you, Chief, and the guys for what you've done for our family. And we'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn.
Second? Did I get a second there?
Mayor.
Okay.
Mayor,
I'll second.
Deputy Mayor Napolitani,
Yes.
Council Members Achara,
Yes.
Fisher,
Yes.
Mayor Siciliano.
Yes, thank you all for joining us. Have a great week, everybody.
Thank you all.
Bye-bye.